Hey, this is Drake here. I figured I'd make a short video going over these dual blade builds that I put together, and I didn't come up with them by no means. There's a lot of guides on the video or on the YouTube that give a lot more maxed out builds than this, but this was just the way I put it together so it would be comfortable yet still highly effective. On your status, it is an elemental build. As you can see, we got 158 fire and 403 raw attack, 50% affinity because of our one level of maximum might, which usually don't work well on dual blades, but with Heaven Sent it pairs extremely well to get you up to 100% crit. But what I went for is your standard build, full attack, full crit, and then whatever element you're running, just run that. And I made the build universal, so all you got to do is just swap dual blades, swap your elemental charms, for that particular monster's weakness. But it's still running full 100% crit with full crit boost, plus you got crit element, weakness, exploit. Still running burst because it does give you more elemental output as you're damaging, and more raw too. And Heaven Sent's the big kicker on it. Heaven Sent is awesome, and your Theosta blessing or Deora blessing, depending on, Theosta's for fire, Deora would be for water or ice. And your weaker two builds will be Dragon and Thunder, because there is no Elder Dragon stat for that to get that extra 10%. Just unfortunate. So but that's just how it is. And one level of Intrepid Heart, just because, if you get hit. Now, if you're not familiar, which most people probably are, for training options, lower the head. Alright, you can see now Heaven Sent is starting to activate with a little swirling arrow around me. It takes 18 seconds at level 3, and you have to have it at level 3. Now it's active. Now we got unlimited stamina, unlimited sharpness, and because of our maximum might, we're going to have an extra 10% affinity, which gets us to 100%. So as you can see, we can stay in our demon mode and dash as much as we want to. Never run out of stamina. Now, I did figure out you don't want your Palicos running sleep weapons, because if the monster goes to sleep, this deactivates. And if you didn't know, of course I didn't, dual blades regular demon mode, see I'm at 158 now. Regular demon mode actually ups your elemental to 212. So it's basically designed for elemental output, so you get that just from entering. If you do feral demon mode, it ups your raw attack, which I just found out recently. As you can see, this thing does some pretty good damage, but it's got none of the negative effects that some of the speedrunner builds I saw. But you're heavily dependent upon weak spots, because you can see here it'll hit for 207. Here it only hits for 66 or 124, depending on the weak spot. So your weak spots, you really have to target weak spots. You still get your natural dual blade damage, is what I like about it. If you're not hitting a weak spot, you're still doing raw damage, but you're just not doing your elemental. Alright, let's go back and look at the armor. Now, unfortunately, Heaven Sent cannot be spun or on any armor on Curious Crafting or crafted through talismans. So you are required to run at least 3 pieces of Amatsu. So it kind of limits the build. If you want Heaven Sent, you have to run the feet, you have to run the arms, and you have to run the chest. See, I went ahead and incorporated the head in there to get the level 4, but it comes with level 5 evade window. I had to give up 1 level to trade off for weakness exploit. But it kind of limits you. The only thing you can change on this build is the head and the waist. And I just went primordial for the waist because it has the best slottage. And that's, like I said, I went for the head because I was running the Risen Theosta, but this one had a little better slottage, and the evade window helps keep your Heaven Sent active. Of course, I didn't show it, because once you take a hit, it deactivates, and it don't reactivate for 18 seconds. See, and another cool aspect about Heaven Sent, as you can see now, I don't have a lot of purple sharpness on this build, so if I go very hard without a Heaven Sent active, it eats away at it. Now it's active. But once it's active, all you gotta do is swap scrolls and all your sharpness is back, and it does not deactivate Heaven Sent. So it's basically an infinite sharpness build. But you can see the blue bar above my life there. That's the Intrepid. Now what that does is, now that it's full, once I take a hit, I don't flinch back, which will save me one time of being knocked out of my Heaven Sent. You'll see, activated, I didn't get knocked out of it. Now it won't be back again till I get, as you can see, my Heaven Sent's active right now. As soon as I get hit, it deactivates, and it's an 18-second delay between time that it up and not. Now you do have to run level 3 in order for it to be functional, because, let's see, where is it? At level 3, it nullifies stamina and sharpness consumption. The lower 2 levels don't do that, so you're required to run level 3 on it. That's about, well, let me go over decorations, because you'll have to be above level 241 anomaly to get this build particular, or any of them, to work, because it takes the attack charms 4 and expert charms 4, which only lock after you get Risen Dragon Thick Blood, I believe it is, at 241. Or if you're 221, you can get someone who's already got it to post it for you, and you can run it that way. Anybody 221 or above can run it. Alright, man, as you can see, we're running Crit Element, and this one here is necessary. You have to have the level 3 Rampage slot, and the Elemental Bane adds an extra 15% damage to when you're hitting a weak spot. It says slightly, but it's about 10 to 15% on it. And you do have to run at least one level of handicraft on this set, the fire and the water, to get them to purple sharpness, or else you're losing 15% damage out of the set. But that's it. I mean, other than attack, expert, and then these are interchangeable. Your hard blaze and your blaze, that's your elemental swap. Just swap those out for whatever elemental, or what I did was just went and preloaded all of them so I can just swap in between. And talisman is kind of, you about have to have one close to this. You have to have attack boost 3, and then you want a 4-star and at least 2 1-star slots, or to get it all in there. You about have to have them. And if I wish I had a better talisman, because if I had one that had Berserk on it, you could run Berserk, and you don't know, when you swap to blue scroll, all your life changes to red and gradually decreases, but you take no knockbacks or no flinch damage. So basically you're in Heaven Sent constantly until your life runs out. And if it starts getting low, you just swap, reset, and I mean, you have to refill your life, but you're right back again. And Berserk will allow you to tank any hit, even the super hits from the monsters that would normally one-shot you. If you're in Berserk, all it does is speed up the health drain, which it will speed it up to the point to where it's not manageable, but all you have to do is swap and it resets, which is awesome. And that would be the perfected part of this build. Now your speed runners, and I don't know if I have any, what they're running, I don't think I have any made. Yeah, but what they're running is a headpiece and the waist piece from the, I think it's Risen Shaggaroo to get Strife, and let me travel back, I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, they do because they Strife, and the other one does a constant health drain, but it also ups your elemental output too. So where is it? Yeah, Chaotic Gore for Strife, and it comes with Elemental Exploit 1. And Bloodlust is the other one that they're running. It's Bloodlust and Strife, because Strife increases elemental attack and affinity in proportion length to your red health gauge. When you're in Berserk, you got full red health, so it's maxed. And Bloodlust. It doesn't really say, but anyway, it affects it ups your elemental too. But from what I've seen, if you, and that one's actually got level 1 berserk on it, but you need level 2 berserk, or really the health drain is unmanageable, so you about have to run level 2. But that's what your meta builds are running. But, you know, personally, I made this one for comfort. It's nice. You're not too squishy. And also you can run Mail of Hellfire. I think it's Mail, or is it? Yeah, here it is. Yes. It's Mail of Hellfire. And if you can see, blue scroll puts element up. At level 3, you're getting a 20% elemental damage buff, but I mean it greatly decreases all your resistances, so any elemental attacks from the monsters, you will take a ton of damage. But I mean, if you feel comfortable, if you don't feel like you're going to take any hits, you could throw that in there if you had the right talisman for it, and get an extra 20% elemental damage out of it. What I was kind of looking for is to not drop much raw and pick up the elemental too, so it's the best of both worlds. Because the only thing really that changes about this is you augment it for fire for your element instead of attack. Instead of having probably 55 attack boost, it's got a 53 elemental boost, so you just drop 15 points of attack to pick up your elemental. But that's basically it. Oh, and the other thing, and I still haven't learned them all yet, the elemental stuff only activates if a monster has a 25, or 20 is okay, but 25 is when you really start seeing the damage output. If you look at the head, torso, forelegs, and over there to the side, it tells you all of their weaknesses. See, 25 is what you're looking for. So this one, the Great Dazuchi, is 25 to thunder on the head and the tail tip. So that's where you'll get your great damage. Now there's only 2 that's got a 40, and that's the baggy to fire and the wargy to ice. That's the only 2 I've seen that's got straight up 40. And you can do some nutty damage on them. Matter of fact, we'll just run the baggy. But yeah, I mean, and there's some monsters that just don't have good elemental hit zones, so you won't do good elemental damage. But that's kind of the reason I went with this build, because you're still doing basically all the raw damage that you would normally do. You just add the elemental on top of it too. Let's see if we can't make this quick. Usually I just post the quest. Oh, we're going for baggy, aren't we?
May tranquil days return to us shortly.
Sorry if this is a longer video. I usually don't like editing in stuff. I guess probably because I'm lazy, but also I like to do a true run, not those videos you see where they post in clips of when everything goes perfect, because we've all had those runs where everything goes perfect, and then the next run we do, everything just goes to crap. So I kind of find that doing it in real time, it shows what the build will really do. If I make a mistake or something, you'll see how it reacts, as opposed to someone just posting their greatest hits clips, and I don't know. To me, it just don't portray it as truthful. But it's possible. I mean, if you're a speedrunner and you take no hits, you can run like it. And this build's kind of comical. Once your Heaven Sense is active, if you want to make sure you don't take a hit, just play it kind of safe. I mean, you'll slow down a little bit. Now, you can do some damage before Heaven Sent activates. You can see, of course, most monsters won't have that kind of hit zones. I'm gonna take this. Dadgummit. That's what I was talking about. Come on, wake me up. Now we gotta wait for 18 seconds for it to reset again. But yeah, this one, because it's got a 40 weakness to fire, you're gonna get ludicrous numbers. We'll wait for our Heaven Sent to activate so you can see it. There it went. Now it's active. Now you can stay in demon mode perpetually. Yeah, and that damage on dual blades, that's insane. And there we go. Nowhere near a flawless run, but you can see, and like I said, I mean, if you get monsters that don't have as good a weakness or whatever, you're hitting spots that are not weak to the element, then you're going to lose half your damage. If you're still doing your raw, you're not dropping raw really, maybe 5% or something. But when you hit a spot that is weak to it, like that is, you do some ludicrous amounts of damage for using dual blades. But that's it. Hope you liked the video. If you get any questions or comments, just post them down below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Till next time, thank you.